Hey guys, today I'm going to be doing a book review on Lady Midnight, Book 1 in the Dark Artifices series by Cassandra Clare. In Lady Midnight by Cassandra Clare, the first book in the Dark Artifices, Emma Carstairs and her parabatai, Julian Blackthorne, are investigating the mysterious murders of Downworlders, which are similar to the murders of Emma's parents 5 years ago. In order to figure out these murders, the Shadowhunters must form an uneasy alliance with the Fairy Courts, which brings Julian's brother Mark back into their lives. The hunt for the truth brings Emma and her friends to mysterious sea caves, as well as a lottery where Downworlders congregate for nefarious purposes. And in the middle of all this, Emma has to deal with her growing feelings towards Julian, and learns why exactly parabatai are not meant to fall in love. You guys, yay! I am so glad to finally talk about this book with you guys. First of all, there will be no spoilers in this video if you're worried about that. You know, a lot of people like to hate on Cassandra Clare, whether that be the Mortal Instruments or the Infernal Devices or any of the other numerous series that she's coming out with. But you know what? I really don't give a damn. I love these books. They're just so much fun. You know, they're pure entertainment and fun to me, and I just really like this world. It's a really fun and interesting world to be in, and I just really like that the Shadowhunter world is continuing to grow. It just continues to expand, and it's so freaking huge now. And I've definitely been looking forward to this book for quite a while now, and it certainly did not disappoint. And you know what? It was honestly quite refreshing to get some new characters. Oh my god. As much as I do like the Mortal Instruments, you know, that series was 6 books. So it was really refreshing to finally meet some new characters, get some slightly new stories. Though, let me say this, like I said, there's not going to be no spoilers, but just a little tease, there are some really great cameo appearances from characters from both the Mortal Instruments and the Infernal Devices, and I loved how those cameos played into this book because they definitely were not forced. They worked naturally within the story, I think. And let's get this out of the way too. Don't just randomly pick up this book. Don't just randomly pick up this book. You definitely need to read the Mortal Instruments and the Infernal Devices first. If you just pick this book up randomly and it's the very first time you've experienced the Shadowhunter world, I have a feeling you're going to be incredibly confused, and you're not going to pick up on some of those little hints and clues that are going to spread throughout the book. You know, little Easter eggs, I guess. So yeah, you definitely need to be a die-hard fan of this series, so that way you can catch the cameos, catch the Shadowhunter lingo, which is complex in its own way. Because Cassandra Clare does not waste time jumping into this novel. She gets going immediately. She doesn't define words for you. She doesn't rehash old plot. You basically got to go into this knowing all of the other previous books, all of the other history, because Cassandra Clare gets going immediately, which I really appreciated, because I hate when books kind of tell me the plot over again. It's like, I know the plot, don't tell me about it. I guess the one and only complaint I would possibly have for this book, which wasn't really a complaint for me, but it probably might be a complaint for other readers. Cassandra Clare has a very particular, unique style. She has her beginning, her middle, and her end, and all of her books run in the same narrative structure and format. So Cassandra Clare doesn't do anything new or wild or crazy with this novel. Like I said, even though there are some new refreshing characters and a bit of some new refreshing plot, the thing is Cassandra Clare does still fall back on her similar narrative structure that she uses in all of her other previous books. So yeah, Lady Midnight is a very similar book in some ways, so that's either going to bother you or it's not going to bother you. And it also explores similar themes as seen in other books like love, loss, and family. So yeah, I can't repeat that enough. The story is not necessarily very new or unique, but the thing that matters is that it's fun. I can't repeat that enough as well. I had fun reading this book from start to finish. And the thing about Cassandra Clare's novels is that it's all about these characters and experiencing the story through their eyes. And just to talk very briefly about some of these new characters, oh my god, I definitely fell in love with all of these characters. Every character was pretty much lovable and likable. Even the villains, some great dastardly villains as well. So if you have read The Mortal Instruments, Emma Carstairs and Julian Blackthorne, they were introduced in book 6 of The Mortal Instruments, and I remember really falling in love with the two of them. And yes, sure enough, they got their own spin-off series. And also, just to make note of, out of all of the books in the Shadowhunter universe, I think Lady Midnight is the most mature and adult in its plot. And the characters are dealing with some pretty big adult issues. So yeah, me being as old as I am, I'm glad that this book did have a much more mature tone. It was a lot more appealing to me. And the concept of parabatai, you guys. Parabatai has been a huge concept in all of the books. And it's basically two Shadowhunter warriors who team up, and together they have a super strong bond with one another compared to other Shadowhunters. So yeah, parabatai has been explored in all the other novels, but not to this extent. And that's what Lady Midnight is really exploring. That's what it's quite heavy on. It's exploring much further the concept of parabatai and why exactly parabatai are not meant to fall in love. And it's pretty tragic and devastating once you do get the big reveal. So yeah, as far as Emma Carstairs and Julian Blackthorne go, their characters, everything about this whole concept of parabatai, that is at the core of their characters, because they're both struggling with their relationship with one another. They realize that they're falling in love with each other. They know that they shouldn't, but why are they not allowed to fall in love? So that is definitely a big core of this novel. I really loved reading from the perspective of Julian and Emma. They both had some very interesting character dynamics with one another. And just to mention very briefly some other characters, like I said, I love every character in this book. Just to go down my notes here, I loved Ty, Christina, Mark, Kieran, and Diego. Plus, if you are a fan of Alec and Magnus from the Mortal Instruments series, you're definitely going to like Mark and Kieran. Just saying. My only other complaint with this novel, there's a lot of Blackthorne children. Julian has a lot of brothers and sisters. It can get a little complicated and overwhelming trying to keep all of the siblings straight. Sometimes I felt like I needed a family tree. The siblings, for me, they all kind of merged into one being. There was only a few of them that had very distinct personalities, so I'm hoping in the next couple books of this series, Cassandra Clare further fleshes out some of the other Blackthorne siblings to make them, you know, they're more visual in my head, I suppose. And just as a side note, I'm a big Edgar Allan Poe fan, and Lady Midnight, there's a big thing in here in regards to Poe's poem Annabel Lee, and I loved how Annabel Lee played into this story. Not only do the chapter headings come from Annabel Lee, but the play itself is very important and vital to the story in very interesting and unsuspected ways, which I loved. So yeah, that's it for this review. You guys, have you read Lady Midnight? What did you think about it? Do you love the rest of the series in the Shadowhunter universe? And where does Lady Midnight rank for you? So that's it for this book review. I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you like this book review, you may like these other book reviews. Bye guys.